Hello, everyone. I'm Paul Kagenbein with the Garland County Library, and I'm here today with Bill Davidson, who is the local coordinator for the Garland County AARP Volunteer Tax-Aide, which he's been doing that for 5 years, and he's been helping with the Tax-Aide assistance for 14. He's also a retired United States Navy submarine sailor, and he's here today to talk to you about our upcoming tax season. We've been offering this at the Garland County Library for a while, and as you know, things have changed for it this year. It's might be confusing, but hopefully after you watch today's video, you'll come away a little less confused. I think Bill's going to do a pretty good job explaining everything here. So welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me. And before I get into TaxAide, I just want to thank the library because, as this slide says, this is our 21st year using the library to offer TaxAide services to the local public. And the library has been our partners that whole time. And if it hadn't have been for them, we wouldn't be very successful. I blame the library for all our success for getting this stuff done for you guys. Last year we had to stop on March 13th, but before that was done, we had done 800 tax returns. This year, I don't expect us to do nearly that much just because of this pandemic problem we have and the fact that we will not be able to offer in-person service for you that are so used to coming here getting your taxes done. But I would like to also thank the Director Webb for having me. Kim Hillison is my liaison officer that I've worked with for 5 years as the TaxAide local coordinator here. Public relations, Aaron Baber has helped me this year too to figure out what we're going to do because of the pandemic. And the catch-all young lady that works here, Jill Dryden, she's in charge of my signs and tells me when I misspell words. And I couldn't do it without all these people here. So what I want to do is just talk a little bit about AARP TaxAide. Change this. We're a big organization, about 60,000 volunteers. The most important thing about us, our mission is to help people that really just can't afford to get their taxes done. So we look for helping low to moderate income taxpayers here in Arkansas, and with special attention to 60 and older. And that's because when this system started about 50 years ago, a couple people found some older people in their neighborhoods couldn't afford to get their taxes done. You know, they were losing out on tax breaks. If there was some, there was some. And so they decided to help out, and that's how we grew up. The TaxAide program started. We volunteer a lot, and we try to help everybody in these income brackets. We have no income limitation though, so we don't turn people away if they make too much money. We may not be able to do your tax return though, because we do have some we have some things that we just can't do for people sometimes. But while I'm here on that slide, I would like to do a shout out to irs.gov free file. This year you can go on irs.gov free file. You can't miss it if you type it into your smartphone or a laptop or a computer. And income limitation has gone up to $72,000 this year. So anybody that makes less than $72,000 can go on irs.gov and file their taxes for free. And I really recommend you do it because they offer about 6 different programs. All the programs are walkthrough type software programs. They're all commercially made programs that you download free. You don't have to pay for anything. And it will help you a lot. But now I'd like to talk about the process we're going to do here at the library. Basically, you the taxpayer, you need to come to the library early, like tomorrow, and come in and pick up an intake interview packet that's at the lobby, right at the front entrance. You can't make it. I made this real pretty box. I didn't misspell any words on it. And you don't even have to come all the way in the library. Just reach inside and grab this packet, and it explains everything I need from you to do your taxes. And once you take the packet and you go home and you fill it out and find all your tax documents, There's a guide on the front that reminds you of everything you may need. If you do a good job collecting everything, this will help us make a good return for you, because like I said, we won't be sitting next to you asking you questions, so we depend on you to give us everything we need. Once you do that, then you'll come back to the library on either Monday or Wednesday between 10 to 2, and you will sign up for an appointment to talk to a counselor and present your information to that counselor and see if we can basically do your return, which I'm sure we can. And what will happen is when you come up to get an appointment, the greeter will hand you an envelope, a tax return envelope. If some of you may remember them, you've had them all the time. And that envelope will have an appointment number written on it, and that will be your appointment for that shift. Remember, it's 10 to 2 is the only shift. So just doing the math, if I get 16 people signed up for one shift, that's probably 4 hours worth of interviews, giving each person at least 15 minutes to go over all their stuff. So you'll get a number, and we'll have some way so you can just walk by the window there and see what number is being counseled. And once your number comes up, we will call you, so that if you're sitting in your car, or if you're sitting in the library, or if you're sitting down here at the smokehouse eating a hot dog, you can come right to the library and get the interview with the counselor. Okay? We need to make sure you have everything. So the counselor will go through all the documents you bring, look at the intake interview sheet, may ask you a couple of questions, and you'll see that person write all over the documents you give him. And at that time, if everything's good, he will scan those documents into the system. We will scan those into the cloud storage, secure storage area, where the only people that have access to it are the counselors that are assigned to this site, that normally work inside, but now they're going to be working at home or a remote site. And those returns will be assigned to those counselors that most of you have met, but they will be doing it, and they will do the return, and then it will be reviewed by another counselor remotely in the cloud, looking at all the documents, and we'll put it in the software program. And then I will be contacted when it's done, and then I will call you to come back to the library. And that I anticipate that those days will be Tuesday and Thursday in the afternoon from about 2 to 4. And then I will give you a time that I would like for you to show up, because I don't want, if I call 5 people, I don't want them all showing up at 2 o'clock and then having to wait on each other, because you'll just get upset. So I'll give you a time when I hope you show up at 15-minute intervals on those days, and I'll review the tax return with you. You'll sign it, and I will print out a copy for you. And shortly after that, I'll electronically file it, and your tax return will be going into IRS. If there is a problem with your return and it's rejected for some silly reason, you'll get a phone call from us again, and or where most of the time we can fix it on, because there's something a typo that got missed or something, and we can fix it. But if we can't fix it, if you don't, then you may have to return to the library to either, one, bring us an extra document, or two, for some reason your return may have to be mailed if there's a reject of that where it can't be e-filed. So that's the plan. Basically, come up and fill out some paperwork, come back and sit with a counselor, and come back and get your tax return. But you won't be sitting with any counselors, which I personally will miss, because you guys always give me a hard time every year, and I'm just a sweetheart, and I'm real shy, and you pick on me, and which is fine. But right now, this is when we're going to be open, hopefully starting February 17th, and 10 to 2, come up and sign up for an appointment, and we'll try to get you scanned in. And also, I need to tell you about Hot Springs Village. They are doing a similar system, but their appointments are being taken over the phone by that number shown on that slide. And then they're working the same type of counselor scanning out of the Unitarian Village Church in Hot Springs Village. I don't know exactly where that is, but if you see, they're doing it in two places. We're doing it here and they're doing it out there, TaxAide this year. So I would like to now talk a little bit more about, hello everybody. I would talk a little bit more about what you're going to be seeing. Paul just said that I could take my mask off because he's about 97 feet from me.
Something like that.
Take my mask off.
You're looking a little sweaty over there with your mask on.
We'll continue going here. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I'd try to bring a little joviality to this thing, get over my shyness. But when you come to pick up the packets, what's important, this is the packet, and it tells you everything you need to do a good tax return preparation for us. And we need you to be really more responsible for your return this year than normal, because a lot of times when you were sitting next to us, we're looking at your documents, flipping through them, but now you're going to have to flip through them, get all your documents together, and if you follow the handout I gave you, and if you've all seen these before, or if you haven't, you have now. Fill these out as best you can, and there's a couple of other sheets inside. But one of the most important sheets this year, it's brand new, is the last sheet where you have to give us permission to scan your documents. If you don't, and if you can read this, and the IRS tells you a couple of things, but if you don't give us permission to scan your documents, we can't do your return. So if you read this and say, okay, I don't like what Bill says, and I don't like what this piece of paper says, if you don't give us permission, that will be the end of the interview. And I don't want that to be the end of the interview, because we're going to try to do these taxes the best we can. So when you come up to get an appointment, the greeter will take your name and phone number. You will be standing on the other side of the plastic shield, just like everywhere else you see because of the pandemic. And she will hand you the AARP folder with your number on it. That will be your appointment for that period of time. And I will have some type of sign up saying who I'm working on then, so you can look through the window and figure out how long you're going to have to wait, or if you can take a long nap sitting in your car. But I'm going to try to give each person 15 minutes per counseling. But if you're really seriously, if you're single and one W-2 and you fill this out, I could probably finish your counseling in 5 minutes if you got everything, and we'll scan the material in the scanner and you'll be on your way, and then you'll just be waiting for a phone call to come back to pick it up. Now, one other thing that's on the front of this sheet at the bottom is the phone numbers that you will see on your telephone when you get a call from us. Please pick it up. A lot of people, especially me, I don't pick up a phone number unless I know it. Well, this is the phone numbers you'll see on your telephone when we call you to come back to the library or to come to pick up your return. And if the counselor has a real big question while they're doing your return, they may call you too and talk to you and ask you a question, and that number will be the number you'll see on your phone. So please pick it up, and because you'll help us do your return, and that's what's important. So basically, that's what I have for you all. The process is going to be new for me. It's going to be new for you, and I hope it all works out. Paul, I'm about done with my talk here.
Well, thank you, Bill. You want to take some questions?
Yes, sir.
All right. So first of all, you feel pretty confident about how the process is going to go this year?
Well, I feel confident that I know how to scan and I know how to put things in the cloud, but I'm not confident about how well, how fast or how slow it will go, because I'll have a live person scanning their documents, asking questions, So my feeling is it's going to be real slow the first couple of weeks, and then after a while we'll get on our pony and we'll be riding a lot faster and we'll be able to do more. But the biggest thing that I want to say is the reason that I'm doing the counseling is I'm the only one in my group that's had the vaccine. So my biggest process here is safety for the library people, my greeters, and myself. But I have had the vaccine, and I'm a believer in vaccines. So, but I'll be masked up. I'll look like Dr. Kildare or something. Okay.
So recently the timing changed on the IRS's end. They changed it to February 12th. Can you explain the reasoning for that and how that might impact the taxpayers?
Yes, sir. There was lots of tax law changes at the end of the year, Congress, and the tax law changes in March, April called the CARES Act, and all the other acts that were passed. Those really highly affected all the tax return software that is out there for the IRS and companies. So it kind of like catches your can as IRS comes out with the rules, and they decided that we're not all the tax software is not up to date enough to support you, the taxpayer. So we're going to hold on and verify that all the tax software is working correctly with their software, so that when you electronically file your return, it will go in and it will be a correct return. All right, that's why. So they delayed that from, they were going to start on the 18th of January. They delayed that until the 12th. So this affects the whole country, not just me and you, Paul.
Thank you. Has there been any confirmation yet on if the deadline is going to be extended past April 15th like last year?
No, I have not heard anything. But you would expect it probably will be because they're delayed everything. So I'm betting that they'll probably extend it, but I don't know for sure.
So how are you guys going to follow the COVID-19 guidelines?
Well, we got orders from the library, and we'll all be wearing masks. We'll require people to wear masks when they come in the door and sit across from me. All of that fit shields, face shields, everybody's used to those. We'll ask you not to stick your head around the other side like everybody does at the grocery store, but we'll be behind the wheels, and we'll do we'll clean up between calls. Every time somebody comes in for a counsel, as soon as you leave, I'll spray down the chairs and everything, and we'll do a little cleaning process between clients. So we're going to try to follow the guidelines. We're going to have personal protection equipment, and we're going to do the best we can and to keep everybody safe, you, the client, and me, the poor little counsel.
So you mentioned a focus on low and moderate income taxpayers. Who would that be considered?
Well, the current median household income for Garland County is $45,265. So that's the median income in Garland County. It's pretty low compared to the whole country. And because of that, low to moderate income individuals are considered 80% less than medium. So low to moderate income persons in Garland County are persons that make less than $36,000 a year. Now that's one single person. That number goes up, like if you have married filing jointly or married or family of four, that number goes up. But at the same time, we love helping low to moderate income persons because you know, if they only have a couple of W-2s, that's $200 or $300 worth of that we can save them if you don't have to get your return done on the economy. And especially for older persons that possibly are on 60 and older, they're maybe on Social Security and maybe a small pension. They don't have enough money to go out and get a tax return done, and that's who we're really for. Just low to moderate and just poor old people like me.
And you also mentioned special attention to people 60 and older. What does that mean?
Well, as I said, I think earlier, we started out helping 60 and older. AARP, everybody thinks old people. AARP is old people, and that's how we started. So we kind of concentrate on letting people out there know that we're here for them if they don't have a lot of income, and most people over 55 or 60 are on a fixed income. You've heard the term before, fixed income. That means no pay raises, no pay, nothing. They're getting by with what they retired on maybe 10 or 15, 20 years ago. So we just try to help out those people, and AARP gets the word out pretty well to those individuals that we're here for them.
Is there anything special that people with dependents like children need to know in advance?
Well, I think it's important that if you have dependents, we need to see their Social Security card when you come in. Even if they're still in the original little packet you got when they were born, that's fine. You don't have to tear them up, but we need to know also if they're going to school, if they're going to college, because there's great credits for people that are sending their children to college, and the government gives out great credits for that. So if you have children, we need to have their Social Security card. If you have a disabled child, you need to let us know, because there's special credits for Arkansas for special children, and there's not any for federal, but there is for Arkansas. That's the thing about Arkansas. They have a couple of nice credits for if you're disabled or if you're taking care of a disabled person, or if your child's disabled. So we need to know that. Let us know.
What happens if someone files a return through you and then they realize they forgot something or made a mistake? What should they do?
Oh, they're out of luck. No, that's not true. We can help them if they've come back to us later during the season and say, Bill, I lied. I forgot this W-2. We can try to fix it for you. We can fix it. But if you don't think you have everything on this list, don't come and see me, because fixing it isn't a lot of fun, but we can help you fix it. Because I'm the local coordinator of Garland County, I get telephone calls all year long from people that have problems with their tax return, and I go out and I try to help them.
Are any of your volunteers able to assist people that speak Spanish or sign language, or do you have any resources that you would recommend?
No, I do not have anybody bilingual counselors. I would like to say we used to, but not anymore. That's the biggest problem that any volunteer organization has is, one, we need more volunteers, and two, we need more volunteers. So we're really short of volunteers this year, but I do not have any bilingual people, and I apologize.
If someone wanted to help volunteer either now or in the future, where would they go to do that?
They could just come by and drop their name and address and number, and you library, and take these numbers for me all year. You can just come by and drop your name and number off here, and I'll contact you. I'll explain the training that we do and how you can become a volunteer. And we need volunteers that don't do taxes also. If you don't want to do taxes, but you'd like to just hang out at the library with a bunch of good people, you can volunteer to do that.
All right, before we finish, let's talk money. For people who are getting refunds, how should they expect that process to go? How soon will they get their money?
Well, since we're not going to be able to transmit a return until after 12 February, then I would expect 15 days after that before the first return is actually handled by IRS. And that's what they've done in the past, but that was based upon starting on February 1st, and then it was the 15th. I could be totally wrong, and they could process the returns as soon as they get put in. But normally, if they're processing the returns as soon as they go in, within 7 days, they've been putting out checks. Now, they advertise that they will do it in 21 days. So when somebody says, Bill, when am I going to get my return? I always give them 21 days, because if I say 7 and they don't get it, they'll come back in and complain. But so they have 21 days, you should have your return. And I always let people know that you can go to irs.gov and figure out where your return is just by where's my return. It's pretty simple. Okay.
And speaking of money, let's remind everyone this is absolutely a free service.
Yes, it's free. We can't take anything for it. Some of you guys used to bring in chocolate chip cookies, and look what you've done. But we can't take anything for it. We don't want anything for it. We do it just for you guys because we enjoy doing taxes. And that's just right there. If we like doing taxes, we're not very smart people. Okay.
All right, so one last question about money, probably the most Googled question of the year outside of COVID-related questions. We've received a couple of stimulus checks and we might receive another. How, if at all, will that affect people's returns and refunds?
Okay, the stimulus checks that you should have received April and then in January are non-taxable events to the recipient. They're not taxable money. If you did not get them, we document that on the tax return and you will get it. That's the plan. The current tax return has an area for putting that in, so that people that for some reason that did not get the first check or the second set of checks, that we will put that on the return and they will get that money via filing 2020 tax return.
All right, well, that's pretty much all I have. Is there anything else you would like to add? And well, what's your big goal for the year?
Well, my big goal is to stay safe. I hope all of you out there get a vaccine. We'll do good returns. You give us good information, we'll do good returns for everybody. And that's really what we're proud to say. People come back and they'll hear you because we do pretty good tax returns. And I'd also like to, during this time, not go too crazy and maybe grow some more hair, right? I don't know. I'd like a lot to happen, but we're going to have a good year. The library is here helping me, and if they're helping me, I can always help. Thank you.
Right back at you. All right. Thank you, Bill.